Hey, what's going on, y'all? Been gone for a little while, but yeah, I'm back with another one. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, boost this channel up. I'll be talking about some controversial things on here. A lot of times, outside of the bread and circus and the escapism like sports and stuff. I'll talk about some deep things, and I know a lot of times that goes against what YouTube likes to push out, so helps help build this channel. But this is gonna be one of those ones. We'll talk about the situation with the two Compton police officers that were shot this past Saturday. 31-year-old female and a 24-year-old male. They hadn't been on the force that long. I think, about 14 months or so. Ambushed by a gunman. So far, we don't have any. The names of the cops haven't been released. We don't have any information on the motive or who the shooter. We don't have a description of what the shooter is. So yeah, so we're just left with the news. We're left with what we got for right now. The details that we see on the surface. I just wanted to address real quick just the response to these different things and how we as a society play into, the mistakes, not even playing into it, but the different mistakes that we make as a society when in response to these different things, and how we play into the games that that the powers that be want us to play. The division is, together we stand, divided we fall. So, given the information, I've seen a lot of people, they've been celebrating, saying, hey, that's what they get. I think somebody who was on the Compton, somebody who's got some standing there in Compton, even put out a tweet saying, quoting the famous Malcolm X line about the chickens coming home to roost. Now, I'm in no means, I'm not one of those guys, I'm definitely not one of the guys who are, you gotta follow each and every law and this and that, it's, sit back and comply, and I'm not that type of guy. I've always said that, the power has been taken out of the citizens' hands and been, it's been put into the hands of oligarchs, and then the oligarchs have their chosen, and they put the people who they choose to have jurisdiction, who they believe has more jurisdiction over your own personal life than you do, while violating, different laws, Constitution, supreme law of the land, what they swear on, violating those laws which are supposed to protect you from tyranny. Nothing's more personal property, things like that, nothing's more personal than yourself. So, nobody has more jurisdiction than you. I always wanted to put it back into the people and have the people restore order, and have the people have that, have that understanding and those guidelines. Those laws and different things like that are nothing but agreements between the citizens and the people on how they want their land to be governed. But it has to be by the people. But a real democracy. But we're under the guise of this isn't a democracy. This is an oligarchy. Black people have always gotten a bad shake here on this land for whatever reason it's been. Whether it's been, because we're here to play be a piece on the chessboard, because even if they were to wipe black people, us black folks all the way, quote unquote black, because that's just a classification. But even if they were to wipe us all away, they would still need a slave class, so to say. So, we're just a piece on the chessboard, and our pain gets exploited a lot. So there's been a long history with police brutality. It's been played out, whether it's been a psychological operation or real. You know what I'm saying? We know different situations. I personally know situations where police overstep their boundaries. Police are definitely supposed to have more. They have more responsibility, so there should be more consequence to the actions that they take. But different laws in different cities, which we tend to overlook at times, they give police slight immunity, kind of like the situation in Sacramento recently, where the police were exonerated, they kicked the man in the back. But because of their law, they have a law that says the police don't face any repercussions if there's no serious injury or anybody's killed. It's like that's, you're not able to play the prevention. You're not able to prevent these things. You got to wait till something bad happens instead of nipping shit at the bud. So it's understood, the pain, and the different things that we've seen in the media. You keep seeing police getting killed. A lot of times, the media plays it up also. Media's always going to play it up. Media's just another arm of the federal government. So they're always going to play these different things up, and a lot of times they're going to omit a lot of details and present it in a way that's very ambiguous. But I just wanted to say, in this situation, you can't say things like, you can do whatever you want, but just understand how, detrimental it is to say things like, oh, good, they deserved it, or backing that type of behavior. Just from all we know, we don't have any backstory. Like I said, the Compton police, they have a history of corruption. And so, I don't have a problem with people fighting back, especially, I don't have a problem with people bucking back and fighting back, but we don't have any backstory to this. And people are, the angle that a lot of people are taking this is, hey, it's stuff been going on around the country, so this is payback, and they deserve this. But we don't know these two. They could have been some of the quote unquote good ones. Some of the quote unquote good ones, and that's kind of subjective. There's I say quote unquote good because we'll just leave it at that. There's some good ones out here, but a lot of times, when they go and speak out against the things that go on, this is another situation I personally know of, and have seen it play out within the media also. But personally, I know this situation. There's buckback. There's there's retaliation. And I personally know this situation from the Compton police. I'll just leave it at that. So, we don't know what these two, we don't know if they were involved in anything themselves, and this was retaliation for that, or like I said, this is just people being somebody who was fed up with what they saw in the media and decided to take stuff into their own hands. But this is, it's not the way you do it. It's one thing, if you get the person who perpetrated the act. If you're, I'm not going to condone any crime, but if you do, I'm not going to condone violence and, all that type of stuff. But if you're gonna do what you do, get the perpetrator, retaliate on the perpetrator, get at that person. You don't just get at a random person. A lot of us got family who are in law enforcement. I got family who are in law enforcement, and a lot of times we just, like most people, they just a lot of law enforcement, man, they blindly do their jobs. But, you know, that's when you're talking about, you know, different laws that are enforced. Now, when you're talking about, you know, just being straight out a dirt bag and different things like that, that's just, you know, that's a whole nother, that's not blindly, you know, that's, dude's just a fucking dirt bag. Dude's a dirt bag. You know, we have a lot of issues with law enforcement, because that's what they do. They just enforce the laws. So where does that start? We have to start, you know, attacking the laws. You know, got to start having those conversations and being at your city council. You know, if you're not there, if you're not addressing these things and, you know, taking this stuff to the courthouse, you know, taking it to your state, you know, what are you doing? But like I said, you know, that's a whole different thing from just flat out corruption. You know, people, you know, stealing money and, you know, just beating, you know, killing. You know, you had officers sitting up there raping, stuff like that. You know, that's a whole different thing. That's just a character. That's just a flat out character issue. You know, some of those other things could possibly be worked out through conversation, because, you know, half the citizens don't even understand the laws, and, you know, within the country, you know, within their country and then in their city in general. So no, you can't condone this. You gotta have all the details. You gotta have details. You can't just go around and just saying, you know, shoot this random person. You know, that just, there's no way. I don't see how anybody even justifies something like that. You know, like I said, I think one of them was a mother to a 6-year-old. You know, a lot of people just trying to make a way, trying to find, you know, make a living for themselves. So, you know, like I said, and they could have been involved in something. But, you know, until then, you know, let's just, you know, we're all so quick to want to come to some type of conclusion or make some type of assertion. You know, we always want to be the first, instead of, you know, just sit back and, you know, kind of analyze everything and see what's going on. And that's part of our problem, you know, just dealing with the information that we have in front of us. You know, it goes from both sides. You know, we get these situations and start talking about, you know, even you know, like the Jacob Blake, you know, George Floyd. We start talking about the criminal past and different shit like that. You know, and it has nothing to do with the present. It has nothing to do with what we're dealing with right in front of us. If they're going to be dealt with for their criminal past, then they have to be dealt with in that situation. They have to be arrested in that situation. That situation has to be resolved. But this is a whole new situation, you know. And, you know, it's the same for these officers. You know, we don't know what happened. We don't even know the names of them. We have nothing. So, you know, sit back and just be like, you know, this is justified. You're just feeding into the war that they want, you know, that they want the mindless of this nation to partake in. So, you know, let's think before we react. Let's sit back and wait. I'll monitor more of this situation, see if we can get more. Because like I said, there comes a time to where you do have to fight back. But until then, let's think. Let's think and be rational about the situation. I mean, think about it. Think about how many youngins out here, for the dummies, youngins, children. Think about how many children have been killed because of, you know, acts that their fathers didn't make, you know, in the streets, you know, gang activity or whatever, and they can't find the dad, so they get at the, you know, they get at the child, or they'll get at the mother. They'll get at the dude's mother or any of his family members. I mean, do y'all condone that? Y'all condone that? You know, it's the same thing. You know, get at who you got your problem with. Like I said, I don't, you know, I'm not going for, you know, I'm not backing any violence or anything like that, but at least, the very least, go after who you have the issue with. You know what I'm saying? Be direct. Other than that, man, ain't got nothing else, man. I'll catch y'all later. Catch y'all on the next one. I have more stuff going. You know, try to be more active. Like I said, hit that like, share, subscribe. One more thing. If you ain't gonna do nothing, your damn self, stop advocating for it. If you ain't gonna pull the trigger, don't advocate for nobody else. Peace.